Hi guys, it's Jeff at Slavens Racing. This video is about fuel tanks for the 24 KTM models. This applies to pretty much all of the 125s through the 500s. This is a 500 right here in front of me. And so that's got the stock tank on it right now. And then I'm going to put on the next size up, which is a 3.2. And then the next one up from that, which is 4 gallon or 4.1. Anyhow, the biggest concern guys seem to have, and the most questions we have is about the width of them. They're concerned that it's going to have their, spread their legs out too much, and they're going to be in an awkward position, and yada yada yada. The second thing they seem to be concerned about is when they, kind of bulge up. Obviously, when you make the tank bigger, it's going to gain right in here too. It's going to hump up here, which is what they all do. They typically don't make them much wider. They usually make them a little bit longer, a little bit taller, but so guys get worried about their junk banging into that. But if your junk is up there, you're probably going over the bars. You're already in deep shit. You're already in trouble. I wouldn't be worrying about my junk at that point. I'd be worried about landing on my head. But anyhow, all right. So for this test. It's hard to measure gas tanks. If I had a big set of gigantic calipers, that'd be pretty cool, but I don't. And so I've just come up with this kind of redneck way to measure here. So I've got yardsticks on both sides of the tank. I've taped them to the hoist down there at the bottom, taped them to the top, to the tank at the top here, and then I use this level to make sure that they're straight up and down. I've got one on each side. And then I just measure the distance between the two. So this stock tank is 14.5 inches. So this is the widest point right here. Same way over there. Up here where your knee, so your leg actually doesn't even touch down here. Your boot will, but your leg, for the most part, is not there. Your leg is laying through here. And my leg, I'm 6'3", I've got fairly long legs. My leg comes up here in this area of the V. My knee is up in this area. So, and this area typically doesn't get wider. Now back here, if you're in the standing position, it's not an issue at all because your leg is right in here or it's tilted back when you're standing up. I gas it through some whoops. All right, guys, so like I said before, the stock tank is 14.5 inches wide at the widest point. So now I'm going to move on to the 3 point, I believe it's the 3.1. Maybe it's the 3.2, I'm not sure. That's on our website. But regardless, the next size up tank that Acerbis makes, Acerbis is the brand we use most of the time. We also like the, IMS, and the guys over there are great guys. We just typically, I particularly prefer the Acerbis tank. I think it's just a little bit better fit and finish. All right, guys, so stay tuned. I'll show you one with a 3.1 on it, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned. Okay guys, here's the 3.2 tank on my 300. The 300 and 500 use the same tanks, same basic chassis. See, I'm using the same procedure. And it's 14.25 between the two on this 3.2. Okay guys, I'm on to the last tank here. This is the 4.0 Acerbis oversized fuel tank for this 24 model. This is the 500 again. And I use the same method, and just as you already know, and as I'll just point out here, this is not highly accurate. I don't have any way to really measure this any better than what I'm doing here. I would need some gigantic calipers like they use when they're working on gigantic engines for ships and that kind of stuff. Don't have those, so I'm just doing some rough measurements here just so you guys can make an informed decision on what you want to buy or not buy. And so same deal. I put the the level. Put the level on both of these and just made sure they're straight up and down. Then I measured across the bottom. And this one's also 14.5 inches. So we had 14.25, 14.5, 14.5. You know, I think they're probably all 14.5. I probably just have a little discrepancy there on my measurement methods. And this is the widest point of the tank. But, you know, your leg probably sits up in here. I mean, it does sit up in here, and that's probably what you're going to feel more than you would this area, although your boot does rub down here. All right, so I decided to come up to address that a little bit. And with this, as you can see in this tank right here, that the shroud now sticks out beyond the seat. A little bit back here, and then it just gets wider up here. I'll show you, this is the 4.0. I don't, you know, this is just half-assed on there, guys. I don't have the fuel pump in there or anything hooked up yet. Here's my 300. You can see the reveal on it. It's just a little bit less than the 4-gallon tank. Let's go back and look at that. Maybe it's not even less, I don't know, but let's look at the 4-gallon again. That was the 3.1. Yeah, I'd say this one sticks out just a hair more. And then the stock tank, which is that one over there on the floor, it doesn't, it's about like this back here. It just barely sticks out. So I measured this. Let me grab my tape measure over here again. I forgot what my measurement was. Yeah, it's about a 1/2 inch on this. So probably overall the tank is about 1 inch wider right through the girth here. Through this part of the tank is probably about 1 inch wider. Sorry for my bad videography here. So it's gaining most of its fuel a little bit, you know, it's a little wider through here, but it's a lot bigger up in this area. And when you compare it to that stock tank over there, and then look at this, and even look at the one over here on the 3.1. You know, I've ridden this tank a lot. It doesn't bother me in the least. I mean, does it feel slightly bigger? Yeah. Is it a deal breaker? No, definitely not. And is it problematic? No. You know, if you want more fuel, there's going to be a little bit of a consequence. So, anyhow, and I measured from here to here. There's about 1 inch difference between this tank and the 3.1. And you can see that this is bigger through here. You know, so they're getting most of the fuel up there in that part. Some of the fuel in here, the additional fuel. All right, and then I'm going to address one last question. The one, let's see if I can get this off here. There we go. Yes, we get a lot of people concerned about this new fuel tank system, fuel pump location, excuse me. So they put the fuel pump in the center now. Instead of having it down below over here. And guys are always concerned that it's not going to empty the tank. You know, I have the same concern. I've not experienced that though. On my 300 over there, it seems to, I've never tried to run it completely dry, but it gets real close. I mean, I've had it real close without a problem. Some guys have said, dual sport guys that ride on pavement or really smooth dirt roads or something similar to where the bike's not jumping around much. I saw one guy post that he ran out of gas and still had quite a bit in the tank. You know, I had to stop and lay the bike over and try to get the gas up in there. That makes sense. I don't think they really designed these bikes to go on a surface as smooth as a baby's butt. they designed these bikes to be ridden on the dirt. So it could be a problem if you're riding in those really smooth conditions. I don't know. I might have some chance to experience that this summer whenever the mountains melt out some. Right now, I'm not doing much dual sporting. But, that's my 2 cents on that. It is what it is. It seems to work. Is it a deal breaker for me? Absolutely not. I'm going to ride the hell out of this bike. I'm going to ride the hell out of my other bike. That's why I bought them. I like to wear out tires. And Acerbis makes beautiful products, and we've got them in stock. So we've got 3.1s, we've got these 4.0s in stock, and we've got more on the way. So guys, I hope this helps you make an informed decision. I know there's, like I've said before, there's nothing super accurate about the way I'm doing these measurements, but it does give you a ballpark idea about the widths, and hopefully it helps you make an informed decision. So if you would, please like us on Instagram and Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. Anytime you're in the neighborhood, please stop by the store. And I believe that's all for now. Get out and get some throttle therapy.